Sorry about that. Okay, what was I saying about them being boring? Yes. Boring. Yeah, there's absolutely no engagement to the characters or to the story, and it's just so irrelevant to today. Like, it's, oh my god, the most boring. Okay, I think I'm making my point. Classics are boring, and I don't like them. Number 2, they are not relevant. The stories in classics are meant to be relevant. They're meant to stand the test of time. That is like how classics are defined. But the issue with them is they don't. Okay, they have absolutely no relevance to our society today. Nobody engages with the stories anymore. Nobody relates to them really, and I think that's bad. Like, I know that there are a lot of novels that have come out in recent years that are based off of classics, but they are so much more plot or character driven than the original story they were derived from. And to us today, in the society we live in, I think that is very, very important. I think maybe years ago people would have, there was a lot of people who didn't read, and I think the people who did read, they read more from an educated point of view. It was for education, and I think maybe that's why it was so appealing back then, because the language was so good, I suppose, and so fancy and eloquent. I think that may have been the reason that they appealed so much then, but now that is why people don't really read them anymore, because they have no relevance to us anymore. Number 3, language use. Oh my god, the language in some of these classic novels is just unbelievable. Like there's sometimes it is so wordy and so overly fancy that I actually kind of read a sentence and I'm like, wait, what did I just read? And I have to go back and read it again, and I actually get distracted from the actual story of what's going on because I'm focusing so hard on trying to break down the language in the novel that I just can't like my brain can't register what's really going on, and it's very frustrating for me because I am a voracious reader and I love books, but like, oh my god, it just pisses me off so much. Like, take this for example. Right now, over my summer holidays, I have to read The Great Gatsby for English. I am about 20 pages into it, and it is one of the most boring books I have ever read in my life so far, and I just don't have the will to continue. Like, it is so bad, and so boring, and I just don't understand why there's such emphasis on the English curriculums in schools for classics, for us to read them, for us to study them, for us to interpret them and understand them and all this. Like, I know a lot of people in my school who hate English. I personally really like English because I like writing and I'm very into that. But I can totally understand why they don't, because it's if you're not interested in writing or whatever, it's just not really great, because we focus in on these classic novels, plays, poetry, all that kind of thing, and I think there is a kind of barrier with people today with these kind of novels that wouldn't have existed at the time that they were printed, because the people at the time who would have read them would have been very, very, very educated, very wealthy, very affluent, and they could really, as I said before, it was more from an educated standstill. But nowadays, I really do not think classics are relevant. I think they are kind of dying down, and the only way that they're being recognized really by people today is the fact that other good novels that are being printed now, like YA ones, for example, are based off of classics. But they're only like slightly based off them, and they're so much, most of the time they're so much better. Like, for example, take the Maze Runner series, for example, published a few years ago. That was based off of Lord of the Flies. I absolutely loved the Maze Runner series. I loved it so much. And at the time we were going into English to study Lord of the Flies. I hadn't started it yet, but James Dashner, who wrote the Maze Runner series, said that he had based the series off of Lord of the Flies. So I was actually excited to read Lord of the Flies. I was like, I can't wait for this, because oh my god, I love the Maze Runner. And I was bitterly disappointed. Lord of the Flies is one of the worst books I have ever read in my life. So I think that really concludes my rant on classics and why I hate them so much. I know I've probably offended some people out there who actually do like classics, but for me, they're just not for me. I just cannot stand them. But anyway, I'm up for debate, I'm up for discussion, whatever. So if you agree or disagree with this rant or whatever you want to call it on classics, let me know in the comments below, and I'll probably get back to you, because I don't have much to do with my life and I can just reply to any comments. Anyway, yeah, let me know your opinion on classics, and until next time, see ya.